Welcome
Hello.
to our session for the Africa Film for Impact Fellowship. And we're running an Africa Women in Film and TV Empowerment Program. And for the first session, we have Segilola Ogidan in the house. And we also have Ori Mani Ame in the house as well. We'll be focusing on understanding social impact films, as we think it's very important to sort of have a basic understanding of what you're doing when you say you're making social impact films, because it's very important. It's also an emotional journey for many, especially for upcoming filmmakers. So it's very important to discuss it. So yeah, I would let Segilola introduce herself. Please give us the best pitch ever. And then after Segi, we'll have Mani introduce himself as well. If you don't do a good job, I will help you, prop you up. So please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. So like Inya said, I'm a filmmaker. My name is Segilola Ogidan. I'm a writer, director, actress, producer. Yep. And oh gosh, I've been...
An award-winning. You need to add award-winning there. An award-winning.
Award-winning writer, director, actress. I've been doing this for about 12 years professionally now, and I have a production company in the UK called OKP Productions, and under that company we've successfully produced 3 feature films that have gone on to do amazing things in the festival circuit, a short film which also did amazing things, and last year I had my directorial debut with Tainted Canvas, which is the film we're going to be talking about today. I now live in Nigeria.
Yay!
It has been interesting, to say the least, challenging, and I'm sure a lot of you know, but I have to say it's been rewarding, and so I keep at it. Yeah, I'm a mother of 2 kids. Yes, I don't know how I do it, but I do have 2 boys, and yeah, life is hunky dory.
Amazing. You did a good job. Don't worry. You did well. You just forgot the award-winning part. And that was, I corrected that bit. So yeah, so Mani, can we hear from you as well? Can you tell us about, even though we can't see you right now, but yeah, where were you in spirits? Just introduce yourself.
Oh, thank God for that. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I don't know what's wrong with my video. But hi, everyone. My name is Ori Mani Ame. I'm a filmmaker, producer, executive producer, and I also run a writer's room here in Lagos, focusing on what I didn't even quite consider, never termed it as social impact film, but that has kind of been the goal for what we've been doing. I started out as an actor. I worked on stage in London for a couple of years before I decided to move back to Nigeria, where I now live. Segi and I know each other from on the set of a film way back from London. And very happy to be here in Nigeria working with her now.
Fantastic. Thanks for coming on board. So yeah, let's just go straight into it. I met Segi 7 years ago, I think, online. I met you, I distributed Mom, Dad, Meet Sam. Yeah, exactly. I feel really old saying 7 years back, but yeah, that was how we met via email. And I've known you for, the kind of films that you do. And I've thought of, a rom-com, type of person is what I would normally think. So when I saw Tainted Canvas, I was blown away. And the film has really done so well. Would send information to everyone afterwards to sort of have a look and see the film. It's an amazing film. And with Ori as well, I've been in touch with you as well for about the same amount of time in that way. But yes, I didn't really know the social impact side of you too until recently. So yeah, first question, what is your definition of social impact films? That's the first question. What would you call, when we say social impact films, what's your definition? And Segi, you can go first.
I would say films that highlight certain issues or that can accelerate, certain issues in the community. Just I don't like using the word activist films, because then it takes away the entertainment aspect of it, because I think social impact films can be entertaining. But I would primarily say films with a cause. Yeah, that's it. Films with a cause.
Okay, fantastic. What about you, Manny?
For me, the key word here would be sort of marginalization. My filmmaking has always been about propaganda. I just taking ownership of stories and telling them from a representation point of view. And so the two things that I look for in stories that I want to create, one, it has to be about Blackness and Black identity. And then secondly, about women, Black women. And so I actually just never, until recently, actually considered what I was doing to be social impact. But I just wanted to tell a story from a perspective of representation because of the voices that are really marginalized in society, which is Black people and Black women are the most marginalized voices in society. And I just wanted to create stories that represented them, that gave them a voice to speak for themselves, to kind of, represent themselves on screen and on camera. And yeah, so for me, that's what it is. It's just about marginalization and giving a voice to unrepresented segments of our society. But for me, also, yeah, Blackness and Black women are primary subjects that I'm very interested in representing on film.
Oh, great. So you sort of touched on the next question, which I was planning to ask you. I wanted to ask how you discovered social impact films. And yeah, let me ask you, just how do you think you discovered it? Because from what you've just said, you sort of wanted to make a change and going to, filmmaking and just to talk about the marginalized and whatnot. But yeah, how would you say you discovered it?
It was a lot of conversations about what was, in terms of filmmaking, what was commercially viable. And so I have a lot of conversations. Even before you start making a film, you're trying to make sure that the film can get distribution. And for me, it just really upset me to find out that films that had Black women leads were had to be in a certain category, had to be like a romantic comedy or some usually romantic comedies, where it has to, if it's Black female led, it has to be about a woman who's finding a love or chasing the champagne lifestyle, which I found really troubling. I was like, there's a lot more to Black women than this. I want to make stories that show them in a different kind of way. I want to make stories that show Black women as I know them, like my mothers, my aunties, my sisters. I have 6 of them. And so for me, that was kind of like a bit of a challenge, and I wanted to correct that in what I was doing. So it was a lot of conversation with other filmmakers, and mainly with the gatekeepers, who are the distributors of films, who would not take a story unless it was a certain type of way, if we had Black female leads. And so that kind of spurred me and inspired me to want to create more of the kind of things that they were rejecting as a rebellion, of course.
So did you go into it thinking, yes, I'll distribute it myself, or what was the process?
I always say to myself, it's either my film will find its audience or the audience will find the film. So that's my goal. That's my motto. Yes, it's either my film will find its audience or the audience will find the film. Either way.
Fantastic. So Segilola, to you.
How did I discover it? Okay, so I trained as an actress in the UK, and after I graduated, the types of roles I was being offered were either, the gangster's girlfriend or side chick or the baby mama, just like grading roles. And for me, I found it really difficult to identify with that, because I didn't grow up like that. I didn't have any friends who were like, the side chick or the baby mama. I went to uni. I am well educated. I come from so, and I was always surrounded by women in powerful positions, like all my friends in like
she gassed me up a little.
Respect what respect is due. But that was what I was what I knew, that was my reality. And I decided to be dedicated to telling stories about Black women, like always said. And just, show the multifaceted creatures that we are, because we are multifaceted. But then with tainted in particular, so that whole subject, I didn't think I was going to be a social impact filmmaker either. But, TC stems from my own personal experiences and, some childhood friends, their personal experiences as well. And after having conversations with them and just, doing some research and seeing how just, what a prevalent issue this topic is, I decided that, it was important to make a film about child sexual abuse in the case of TC. And I guess that's where, that has stemmed from. And even with Mom, Dad Meet Sam, that came from a personal experience as well. Like, my boyfriend at the time was white. So if no one knows Mom, Dad Meet Sam, it's, kind of like a homage to Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, a Nigerian guy who falls in love with a white English girl, takes her to Nigeria, and all hell breaks loose, basically. And it's just, about intercultural relationships and the challenges that, comes with. So even though that's a romantic comedy, it kind of touches on the social impact of it, I guess. So yeah. And when I write, I don't do it on purpose, but just because of the life I lead, I guess, and with experiences and just like the types of friends I have, we've been through some stuff. And all that stuff just, comes through in the script. And then, you're able to find that, oh, okay, so this can be, the primary goal of telling this film, and voila, social impact film.
And that's what I love about filmmaking, the fact that you can take certain experiences and turn it into something beautiful you put on TV, and people from different parts of the world can relate. Yes. So yeah, the next thing I was going to ask you was about your creative process. First of all, give us like a little, quick pitch about Tainted Canvas. What's the film about? And then also, tell us what your creative process was from your decision to make the film, and then to the point where you thought, okay, so if I want to make this film, these are the people I need to make this happen. Yeah.
So Tainted Canvas is a film that explores the effects of child sexual abuse in adult life, but more on a mental level. So, it follows Raya, our main protagonist, through, she's a painter, she's an artist, and she uses this medium to kind of, grab a hold of reality and just remain sane. And, a call back to Nigeria about her mom, who played a vital role in her being sexually abused as a child, kind of brings her back to that moment, or to those moments as a child. And so she finds herself in Nigeria. She has to come back to Nigeria, and she finds herself facing, these demons that she didn't realize had not actually conquered. And then she has to go through this journey of conquering these demons, just so she can find her own, mental stability and move on from that. In a nutshell. What was my process with it? So, like I said, this is my directorial debut. Feature-wise, before this, I did a short film, just a 10-minute film back in 2013 as a practice. So this was a massive project for me because, one, it was so personal. It's such a personal story. Two, not many of my friends and family knew about this. So I'm kind of like, I'm outing myself here. I know what all this happened. And three, I graduated years ago. I'm not going to say exactly when I graduated, but it's been some time, like all the technicalities with directing and since graduating, like the equipment, the cameras, everything has changed, so it's literally about like going back to basics and learning about, the new equipment on the market and all of that stuff, but that was easy. The hardest part was basically deciding to make this film. Because we all know that, to do something and do it well, it's not just about the financial, aspect of it. It's about the team. If you don't have a good team, my goodness, your set can be hell.
Yes.
So for me, it was very, very important from the get-go to have the right team behind me. Initially, I didn't want to direct it. I was trying to push this to like all my friends that directed. And all of them, for some reason, you know, either couldn't do it or they were just like, Segi, you need to tell the story. Like, it is so close to you. You're the only one who can tell the story and tell it well. So after I, you know, put on my, you know, big girl knickers, I decided, right, let's, you know, start breaking this down. So broke down the script, decided, you know, obviously it was written here and in the UK. So deciding, okay, we need to shoot here first and then move to the UK. And of course, your producer is very, very important. And Owi is a very close friend of mine. He knows my story. And I knew that he would deal with it, you know, like it was his baby as well. He would deal with it with the care and love and time, you know, that it needed. So partnering with him, we just decided to get the best team together. I pray a lot, so that's part of the process. I pray.
It's very important.
It's very important. And then when we realized that, you know, we were in a good place to start pitching the idea to investors, we did. And that included, you know, putting together like an executive pack, which I'm quite good at. I used to work in a distribution company in the UK. So that was one of the skills that I picked up. So packaging films, you know, I'm quite good at. So we were able to, you know, put all those aspects together, put a team together. I already knew who I wanted to play which character from writing. And then we just basically sent them the pitch packs and started dialogue with them. Yeah, and in terms of like, you know, the actual directing of it, after I went back to school, basically, then, you know, one of my friends, he's a director, Bolaji Kekerekun. I spoke to him about it, you know, I was just like, look, you are great when it comes to like technicalities, you know, so any help you can offer on this set, I would massively appreciate. And he was more than happy to help out with it, you know, so literally every night we would go through the short list and, you know, just fine tune it. And one thing about me is I like to be overly prepared than under, because when you're overly prepared, you can just get on set and, you know, based on what the surroundings are, the environment, the people, you know, the energy on the day, you can just throw it all away. No, be confident that you know everything and you know exactly what you're meant to be doing, and then just go with the flow. And I learned that as an actor, so I just brought that into, you know, the whole directing aspect.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it served
so
me.
I really love, it resonates with me, a lot of things that you said, and I love the part where you said you went back to educate yourself, like literally go back to learn certain things, because it's very important that whatever story that you're telling, you're doing it justice and to the best of your abilities. And I really appreciate that fact. It showed in the film, you know, in that way that, yes. And also pulling from the resource you have. And by resource, I mean friends. I mean, people you know in the industry. One thing I always tell people is never feel ashamed to reach out to a friend to say, I think you know more than me, and I would like you to hold my hands, you know, whilst doing this, in that way. And yeah, that is very important. So yeah, to you, Manny, what was your process with making this film, your creative process?
This film was special because...
So first of all, Segi thought the only person that I think should absolutely direct this is Manny. I've got you, you know, you've got me. And I feel like that in itself is weight on your shoulders, because someone literally has trusted you with their story and they feel like you're the best in the world to make this. So yeah, what was your process?
It was a huge responsibility. I didn't know what Segi saw, but for me that was kind of like, it was a responsibility that I had to go like 101% or not do it at all. It wasn't just another film that I was producing. It was a story that was very personal to her as well. So there was a lot of care in.
Please, there's someone with their someone should mute their mic. We can hear you. If you just unmuted yourself, we can hear you. Okay.
It's
yes.
not from me, so
Continue.
I'm not sure. Right?
No, I know.
Okay.
I know.
Silent. I muted everybody, so you have to join your.
Yes. Okay. Great. All right. So, Manny, you have to unmute yourself. Okay. Great.
Okay, everyone can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you.
I was because of how personal this story was to Segi as well. I either had to go like 101%, or not do it at all. This is like a friend of yours giving you like a 1 day old baby, and say you look after this child. And so it was a lot of responsibility, but I had to give it 101% because it just kind of felt very personal to me as well. I became more confident as soon as Segi actually took charge of the directing, because initially when we went into pre-production, we were looking at some other people to direct it. And as we went along, and she was like, the minute she took over the seat of the director, I became much more confident that we would do something really good, because it just kind of clicked. It wasn't about technicalities anymore. For both of us, it became about telling a story from the heart, a story that was really truthful, and we were just going to like put ourselves out there and tell a story from just tell a story from the guts, rather than worry about all the technicalities of filmmaking. And so that kind of made it like really special, and like it was a different kind of work. But thank you again, Segi, for that responsibility. It was a lot.
Was it a yes from the beginning?
It was like I'm not sure, but let's see how this goes.
How did she tell you?
Yeah.
How did she tell you? She came and proposed and knelt and said, you have to produce this film.
She didn't give me a choice.
I put his name in the executive pack, in the pitch pack, and I said, producer, Owi Mani Ame. And I sent it to him. I was like, so Owi, this is what we're doing. And he was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you say so. Okay. That's interesting.
It was good. It was a good learning experience for me as well. Working with someone who you're really close, like working with your friends can be fun. But it really can be straining as well, because at times you need to put your foot down and say, this is how we do things. So it was challenging in a good way, because we just kind of learned more about each other as well, each other's personalities. And we kind of just brought it like 101% just to make sure that we gave the story our best from both sides.
That's amazing, and it showed in the film as well. So well done to you guys. Next question is about funding. So what was they both went, oh. So the first thing, filmmakers, first thing they think about, how am I going to fund this? And as you guys know, in Africa, let me not say Africa, let me say Nigeria, because I know that South Africa would still give you money for films, and I think Kenya does that as well, and a few other countries. But then with Nigeria, we don't have BFI, who you can go to and say, I want to make this film. So when you put Manny's name on the pack, did you think about the responsibility for funding, or how did you go about it, Segi?
With the fund, so when I put Manny's name on the pack, because he's well connected. Manny,
please, my next film, I'm coming to you.
So I was like, oh, you're big friends, yeah.
Segi, go easy on that, but okay, carry on.
I was like, oh, you're with friends. Can you give me money to make this film? No, but the thing is, he's well connected, so that would be a great resource. And then on my end as well, I've been doing this for a minute, and also through Mum Dad Meet Sam and through my husband, he works finance background, so he also had contact. So I thought, this shouldn't be too difficult to put together, especially because, we were not asking for millions of dollars. It was like a couple of hundreds of, dollars.
Okay.
$1,000, which is not such, a crazy amount to shoot here and in the UK and, have all the stars and all of that stuff. But I did know it was going to be a challenge, obviously, because of the subject matter. It being a social impact film, because immediately what everyone said was, what's the ROI? How are you gonna sell it? When am I making my money back? You know, all of these beautiful, wonderful questions that investors ask you.
I know.
When it's like, hopefully we'll make money back.
Hello.
Yeah.
Do our best to make sure.
Just to say something about how we fund the filming industry in my country. Currently, like, we don't have any budget, like, even from the official side, we have to struggle day and night to get some money and contribute in order to make something short. You know, only one filming crew that managed to do something of 2 hours, a film of 2 hours. But mostly we get challenges in equipment and in getting characters, especially girls. We don't have women in the field at all. We don't have women in the field due to cultural norms, due to some, girls don't support themselves to discover their own talent. It's so much difficult. I tried a lot to do some city building in girls and how they can get into such industries, like to explore out and to show out, but I still get so much difficulties in doing that. But I'm trying my best to get, money. Money is a problem.
It's a problem. Thank you so much, Bianco, for sharing. Where are you from?
Baniko, South Sudan.
Sorry?
From South Sudan, Juba.
Oh, South Sudan. Fantastic. It's nice to have you here. So great. So we'll still come back to the Q&A session, where would the last few minutes would be for Q&A, so everyone can share their experiences after we're done with our guests. But thank you so much for sharing. Thanks for sharing in the meantime. So Segi, back to you.
It is a challenge raising money for anything, let alone a social impact film. So that was fun for all.
Okay. So are we? Yes, money-wise, how do you fund social impact films from your end?
So for me personally, like, if I'm doing a project, if the project is strong enough and I have the confidence to put some of my own money in, then that gives me a lot of confidence to approach people to put money in as well. With this one in particular, obviously at the time we were going into pre-productions, was there a question?
No, go ahead.
Okay, no, by the time we were going into pre-production for Tainted Canvas, I think Genevieve Swim Lion had just been like, Netflix. So there were a few people that were quite excited about, putting money in funding in Nigerian films. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Okay. So I have a sort of a pool of investors that are interested in sort of different subject matters. And as soon as I have a film on my plate that I think fits into what someone likes, then I go and speak to them.
Okay, fantastic. So you have investors who are investing in films for impact, basically, because that's something that people would like to know as well. There's just that assumption out there that people don't want to invest in films for impact, and that people only want to invest in the so-called commercial films. And if you're making a film for impact, you should look for a grant, else you're done. So
but there is that I don't know if it's a misconception though, because we did face those same challenges, like it's not commercial, who's in it, this, all of that stuff that tends to come, trying to make or raise funds for a social impact film. So for me personally, the way I try to counter, and I think you're going to ask this later, I think a good way to counteract that is to just try your best to pack it with stars, that comes and seats. So, if we were able to get like a Genevieve on Tainted Canvas, then it's a sure deal. Like, someone would have given us the money to go and make it, purely because Genevieve will get the audience into the cinemas, and we have a higher chance of making the money back. But if everyone you have in your film is a, you know, unknown, up and coming, that does make it a little bit more challenging, because this is the sales agent / distributor in me. It does make it that bit more challenging to sell. To go, you know, to buyers and say, oh, check out this film, it's really beautiful, but they're gonna ask you, but who's in it? How, you know, is
that an African thing? And this question is to yourself and Manny.
No,
it's an international thing. Okay.
I used to work at In Tandem Films, and we were at the beginning of it, we were focused on making social impact films, but then we had to change course because we were finding it very difficult to sell those types of films. And, you know, I worked at a company where we did How to Lose Friends and Alienate People. So, you know, we did good big budget films.
Yeah.
However, that was not, you know, it did not instill a lot of confidence in the buyers. They're still like, at the time they were still looking for the Angelina Jolie films, the Brad Pitt films, the Julia Roberts films. And we're like, not every film can be a Marvel film. Like, come on now, you know, the market needs to be a little bit more like saturated. So it is definitely more difficult to raise funding for social impact films. So just find a star that cares about the subject matter, which was what we were fortunate about with Tainted Canvas. You know, having Kende Bankole and Tinamba, they read the scripts and absolutely loved it. And, you know, they wanted to be part of the voice, kind of, you know, putting this forward. So that was how we were able to get them on.
Okay. Yeah. So I have this question for Manny. I call you Owe and Manny. Yeah. So I have a question for you. With you guys, you've been doing this for years, and you had a network of people that you could reach out to, and you sort of have an idea of how to get, you know, sort of do this. What about people who are just starting off, a new filmmaker who is passionate about impact films, and their first film is an impact film? We want them to tell their story. What would you advise, Manny? And then I'll ask Segilola as well. Like, what would you advise they should do?
I think, for me, it's quite important to be clear about what you want to achieve with the film. If you want to make a film that goes straight to the box office and becomes like a huge box office success, the truth is, if you look at the environment that we're in, that might be a challenge. For Tainted Canvas, actually, we were clear that the distribution route, we wanted it to do international festival sections first before we even bring it home. So I think it's kind of really important to have a clear strategy from the beginning. Who do you want to see the film? Where do you want this film to be? And what goals do you want the film to achieve? I think that kind of gives investor confidence as well. To be clear about what direction and what you want the film to do.
Okay. What about you, Segi? What do you think?
Oh gosh. Okay. I would. I don't want to deter anyone from making their first film as a social impact film, but just because of my experience, not just as a filmmaker, but also in sales and distribution, I wouldn't advise for the first film to be a social impact film, unless you can have someone if African, like Nigerian, a Genevieve to push the film for you. Purely because you go to investors and you have no track record. They don't know if you can actually make this film, if you have the skills to make it, you know, so that's one thing, you know, going against you. But also, you don't have a track record. Then you want to make a social impact film, which is going to be a challenge to sell. It's very unlikely for them to give money. So me personally, I would advise, go and make a short film, short film about something, just something fun and exciting that can, you know, get people talking about you as a filmmaker. Create some sort of buzz, you know, on whatever it is you create. And then off the back of that, or what you can do is make a short of the social impact film that you want to make, and then create a buzz surrounding that. It's, you know, it's less risky. You can raise the money between you and your friends. Do that. Create a buzz, use social media, like really create an impact with it, and then go with that buzz to investors to raise the money for your feature length, you know, version of the social impact film. That's how.
Thanks, and I think that's very important to know that there's an option to make a short film. Yeah. You don't have to go feature first. You can always make a short film, beg your family and friends and everybody around you to get you, you know, the money. And obviously there's some grants as well that can be applied for. There are grants, they're mostly international grants. The African grants are quite, but yeah, we have a few, we have a few companies, at least banks that I see who are, you know, pushing for social impact films these days. And I think also we have YouTube, you know, these days we have YouTube. You can put your film on YouTube and see how, you know, how much buzz that would generate. If it resonates with people, it would go far. And then eventually you can use that to raise funding for the feature that you want to make. So going to festivals, I know that Manny mentioned festivals. My question is, was there a strategy around the festivals that you took Tainted Canvas to? I know I always have a festival strategy. I love creating festival strategies for my films because I love festivals. But then, was there a plan? Did you think, let me take it here first? If I take it here first, then the buzz will go around? Or what was that process? Because it did well with the festival, in the festival route. So maybe you can tell us how many festivals you did or the big festivals you did first, and then tell us what your strategy was.
So we did have a festival strategy, and mine is always to go for the A-listers first. Obviously, with those ones, it is a little bit more difficult to get into unless you have contacts or you have a director, just so that they can actually watch your film. So I was not, you know, I was not like, you know, holding my breath for any of this. And, you know, the big ones are, you know, like the Sundance, the Raindance, the Cannes, you know, all the Big 10, I like to call them. So that was like, you know, the first set of festivals submit to. Failing those, then we had the B set, which is, you know, films like the New York Film Festival, Sedona International Film Festival, the Montreal Film Festival, Cinema New York, you know, all the B ones, which the B did get into Sedona International Film Festival, which I won't lie to you, I was surprised. Not that it's a good film, but Sedona is, you know, it's big. It's a festival, and for a first filmmaker from Nigeria, I was quite chuffed by that. So we premiered it at Sedona, and then that kind of just created this
auto buzz. That's what happens.
Yeah, ripple effect.
Ripple effect.
We're just like, hi, we've heard about your film. Can we have it? This, that, and then literally, like, we got to the point where we were overwhelmed with invitations. And I was just like, I don't even know which ones to go for. But I charted around the world. I was like, okay, you can go here, you can go there, you can go there, you can go there. And
around here.
A buzz around that. So it did Sedona, it did Cinema New York, where it won an award for Best Drama. It did Eurovision, where it won Best Award for Best Psychological Drama. It did Africa Diaspora Film Festival, you know, it did, what festivals did it do? It did loads.
I think we lost Owi for a bit. He'll be back, but he's trying to connect again. Yeah.
Now, you know, it's doing, it's going to Paris International Film Festival, you know, which is quite exciting as well. It's done well in the festival circuit, and of course, because it's done so well in that circuit, we were able to attract the likes of Bohemia Media in London, who are now distributing for that territory, which, you know, is just amazing to me, you know, as a first-time filmmaker, man.
And that is very important as well. I think for filmmakers to know, people wonder, what's the use of festival? Why, you know, just pay money and join it, and then, you know, they take your film and they show your films. But then, with festivals, the idea is that you showcase your film, you showcase what you have, and then you attract you can attract people who would even review it. Not necessarily, because it's not everyone who goes to the festival who would get a distribution deal. But yes, a distribution deal is much of it's a part of it. But then you can attract reviewers. I know that from going to festivals, I have people who I'm working with now that I met at festivals as well. So festivals are they're very important to take your films to. So my last question before we open it up for anyone who wants to add to the talk, in your experience, what are the must-haves and must-dos when you're making an impact film?
Okay, the must-haves, you must have a story that like everyone.
Oi. Sorry, I'll just try to take that. Find whoever's making that sound. Okay, yes, please continue.
Okay, I would say you must have a story that will resonate with people. And and it starts with resonating with you. If you care about it, yeah, you can find people that will also care about it. And also that just kind of informs, the way you go about telling that story. And number two, for me, very, very important is the team you have with you to create the story. Because it's a social impact film, and it is important, like you have a responsibility to, do that story justice. So you need the right people around you to do your best work, to do that effectively, such that it will resonate with, with others, and then get, dialogue going, because essentially that's what you want to happen. Yeah, you can, create this amazing film that everyone goes and watches and they're like, oh my gosh, that's, beautiful. But the thing is, does it actually have the effect you wanted it to in the first place? Are people talking about this subject matter? Have you affected lives? And you can only do that when, you are surrounded by people who understand what you're trying to do.
The right people.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Thank you. So yeah, I'll throw it out to everyone else who wants to ask a question. You can either unmute yourself and ask your question if you have a question, or you can raise hands and I will check from the list here. So yeah, if you have any questions for our guests. Someone just unmuted themselves. Yes, hi. Do you have a question? You need to unmute yourself.
Okay. Hi, it's Owe. I got logged out from it, but I'm back in.
Oh, yeah, we can see you now.
You can see me now, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Well, at last. Hi.
Fantastic. So does anyone have any question? I'm trying to check the chat to see if someone... Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Unmute yourself, Binako. Sorry, I've been calling you Bianco all the while. Please unmute yourself. And
it's Baniko.
Oh, Baniko. Hey, God. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
It's okay.
Yeah, please go ahead. Say what you want to say. Uh-oh. We can't hear you. I think we lost her again. Can you hear us? Uh-oh. I think we lost.
Yes, I can hear you, but...
Okay. All right. So anybody else? Does anyone else have any questions or what they want to share?
Hey.
Okay, she's back.
I'm here.
Hi, Beniko. We can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. My question is that how best can I reach festival? Because now festival is of much of money. You register with money. You need to submit your script or anything is money. Is there any other strategy that I can reach out?
We paid a lot of money. We used Film Freeway. But the thing is, what we did find was after the film got into a couple of festivals the first time round, we got a lot of festivals give us waivers. because they'd either seen the film at other festivals or they'd heard about it. So towards the latter part of the festival, submissions, it was mainly all free. So, it's always worth investing at the beginning, hoping that, you will get a good traction from other festivals and you get all the way.
Yeah, I have the same experience. So what you're saying basically is invest in the bigger festivals and then the other festivals will come for you.
Exactly.
Or on Film Freeway, there are some free festivals actually, free for submission. Or another thing you can do is to reach out to the festival and explain your situation. Let them know that you don't have money to pay for the submission, and some of them will actually waive it. In that way. I know a lot of festivals that do that. They would waive it for you to submit. So whatever festival you have in mind, just reach out to them and see if they can waive the fees for you. So yeah. Any other question from any other person?
No.
Okay.
Sorry for the noise. I work in a garage.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay. So if there's no other question, I would just go ahead and thank Manny and Segi for hanging out with us today and for this very insightful and important, I would say, session, because it's very good to hear from people who have done it. And someone is saying good afternoon, Peter. Please put your questions in the chat if you have any question. But yeah, as I was saying, it's very important to have this conversation and, sort of find your way through the industry for those who are just starting and for people who are in it and who don't really know how to go about certain things. I think one thing I would take from all this, well, not one thing, but one of the things that I would say is very important is something that you said, Segi, about reaching out to people to help, right? Don't think they won't help, or I know it all. Always reach out to friends, to help. And then basically what you're saying is always have people like Manny. And something Manny also said that I would hold on to is always have people like Manny, have people around you who can, believe in your dream.
They'll say no. And then
they'll say no. Exactly. So yeah, always have people around you. Reach out to people around you who believe in you, your friends, filmmakers, even people you don't know. Trust me, I help a lot of people who I don't know, all the time. You message me and I'm like, yeah, what do you need me to do? So it's always good to reach out to people and ask for help. Someone said, good afternoon. It's a wonderful session, though I joined late. I summarized based on her closing. So my closing remarks. Thank you. Collaboration is key. Yes, collaboration is key. Are there film residencies for women in film? You can share with us. Yes. So I will reach out. I'll get a contact for everyone who attended this session. I am the president of Women in Film and TV Africa and also the secretary of Women in Film and TV International. So I can send you a whole bunch of webinars and conferences that are available for women in film. And also, if you belong to a country, I can let you know whether there's a local Women in Film and TV in your country and put you in touch with the president of that particular Women in Film and TV. If not, because in Africa, we only have WIFT in Nigeria. I head WIFT Africa. We have WIFT in South Africa. It's called SWIFT. We have in Kenya. And we have for the Northern African countries. All of them have come together to form one Women in Film and TV chapter. But outside that, we don't have any other ones. We're trying to speak to certain people. There will be one very soon in Cameroon. There will be one very soon in Senegal as well. But then, yeah, if you have any information or if you want any information, you can reach out to me at Inya. I'll put my my email in the chat box right now, inya@wiftafrica.org. Let me just put that. I hope I'm not wasting everybody's time, but let me find the chat and put that there. So here is my, Inya at wiftafrica.org. So you can contact me and ask about conferences and whatnot, and I'll put you in touch. But yeah, let me see. Is there any other question for us? Okay, I think that's about all. That's all the questions we got. Thank you again, Segilola and Mani. We have come to, we're finishing 3 exactly. Like we're so to time. Yes, we're so to time. So thank you guys. It's been awesome speaking with you, and thanks for sharing your experiences with us. We look forward to we should do this more often. We look forward to having you on board again. So thanks everyone. Bye-bye. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye all.
Macho.
Thank you all for coming around. Thank you very much.
She's not picking my phone. No, I didn't try it now. Right. So.